Hello, yogis, and welcome to today's edition of Okaiyoga. I'm glad you could join us today. Let's start out sitting up on a blanket or a block. Today's sequence will be a Hatha Flow Sequence designed to build a little more heat, a little more warmth. So in this sequence and in any sequence or class, if you're feeling overheated, if you notice you're hyperventilating, holding your breath a lot, feel free to pause. You have permission to stop in any class. Come down to child's pose, wait a minute in downward facing dog, make the practice your own, and do what you need to do to be comfortable in the class and get the most out of it. Finding a comfortable seat with our hips a little bit higher, so you could be sitting up on a block or a blanket. Welcome yourself to your practice today. Let's all take a deep inhale in through the nose. Open our mouth and sigh it out. Let's do that again. Deep inhale in through the nose. Open our mouth, sigh it out. Deep inhale through the nose. This time exhale out the nose. Continuing this pattern of breath throughout the practice gives us a tool, gives us something to focus on, the quality of our breath. Let's gently roll our shoulders or circle our shoulders around our hips to the right 2 or 3 times. Then let's shifting direction. Finding stillness, close our eyes, scan our body, take a little inventory. How are you feeling today in your body, your mind, your spirit? We'll be going through this practice for a little more than an hour. The world will be waiting for us when we return. We're going to start our practice to warm up with our skull shining breath, Kapalabhati pranayama practice. Take your hand right in front of your navel and fake a sneeze. Achoo! Notice when you do that, your transversus constricts, your navel moves towards your spine, you're compressing the diaphragm, squeezing air out of our lungs. We'll do this bellows breathing, skull shining breath. We're going to take a deep, deep inhale in through the nose. We'll do 30 forceful exhalations. You'll continue to inhale, but it'll be more of a reflex. So we're going to take a deep inhale. And begin. Finding stillness. Start to feel maybe a tingling sensation across the top of our skull. Our lungs starting to warm up, our heartbeat starting to rise. Great way to get us ready for an active practice. Second round, let's take some weight off of our lungs by reaching our hands up at a 45-degree angle. Reach the fingertips away, spread the fingers wide, the hands are active. Take another deep inhale here, and another round of Kapalabhati. That's great. Let our hands float down to our knees, to our thighs, roll our shoulders up and back. You can even close your eyes if you'd like. Feel the sensation, the awakening in your body. One more round. Hands can be on our thighs, can be out to the side, can be lifted up. Third and final round. Deep inhale, forceful exhalations for 30. And begin. And lowering the hands down, roll the shoulders up and back, pausing here. Notice the sensations. We'll take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, take our right hand over our left thigh, left hand up like a kickstand behind us, up on fingertips. For a moment, take our right hand on our right hip crease, draw that hip crease away from the hand so the sits bone's really connected to the block, to the floor, to the blanket. Take a deep inhale here, create space between each vertebrae, and on the exhale, imagine our left shoulder opens up ever so slightly towards the wall behind us. 2 more deep breaths here. Using that right sits bones, that leverage to open up on the exhale towards the back. Deep inhale here, and unwind. Now the left hand comes across the right thigh, the right hand up on fingertips behind us like that kickstand. For a moment, take the left hand on the left hip crease, draw the hip crease away from the hand, cementing the sits bone into the ground. Inhale, reach the crown of the head up, and on the exhale, imagine the right shoulder opens up ever so slightly towards the wall behind us. It's the intention, it's the direction, not the distance. We don't want to go beyond our edge here. When you notice that edge, maybe even you back off a little, because then on the next inhale may give us more space to reach the crown of the head even higher. Exhale, right shoulder opens towards the back of the room. Let's unwind, roll the shoulders up and back. We'll take a side stretch here. We can come up off the blanket or the block. Reach the right hand as far away from the right hip as we can go, but only go so far that the left hip can still make contact with the mat. If the left hip starts to rise, walk the fingers back. Coming up on the fingertips may help here. Take an inhale here, reach those fingertips up. Draw the shoulders away from our ears, shoulder blades move closer towards each other. Imagine our left side body's moving towards the bottom of the mat. Do you feel that side stretch here now? Reaching the hand up even higher. Now take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, point the left fingertips away from the right knee. Lower the right shoulder. Imagine the navel's moving towards the spine. The back of the rib cage is moving towards the wall behind us. We're pushing into the right fingertips a lot. Our gaze is down at our thigh. The crown of the head is moving towards our fingertips. Deep inhale here. And on the exhale, open up that side stretch again. Reach the hand up and then over our head. Push the bottom fingertips away. Feel the left sits bones make that connection. Draw the left rib cage away from the top of the mat towards the bottom. Maybe we even turn our gaze up towards that inner soft elbow. Shoulders moving down our back, breathing in through the nose, out of the nose. Deep inhale here, and on the exhale, float the left hand all the way down to the mat. Walk the hand away from us. Make sure the right sits bone now is connected. Reach the right hand up. Draw the right rib cage towards the top of the mat. Shoulders away from our ears, shoulder blades towards each other. Push into the bottom fingertips a lot. Gives us leverage for the rib cage to open up towards the side, creating space between each rib, allowing our lungs to work better, more efficiently through our practice. Take a deep inhale here. And on the exhale, reach the right hand away from the left knee, left thigh. Lower the right shoulder. Draw the navel towards the spine. Imagine the middle back moving towards the wall behind us. Reach the fingertips away. Take a deep inhale here. And on the exhale, let's open up again. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Shoulders away from the ears, reach the hand up, then over, push into those bottom fingers a lot. Feel the connection of both sits bones to the ground below us. Draw the right rib cage towards the top of the mat, creating space in our intercostal muscles, that space between each rib. Breathing deeply, feeling the rib cage expand and open. Float the top hand up, roll the shoulders up and back. Great job, yogis. Let's make our way into tabletop. You're welcome to use a blanket here if you'd like a little more cushion under your knees. It's a great option. Finding ourselves in a neutral tabletop. Let's make sure our shoulders are directly above our wrist crease. Knees are about hip distance apart, slightly beyond our hips. I like to have my toes tucked here. We'll take a few rounds of cat-cow, like we've been doing in class before. We'll articulate the movement in cow from our hips, from our sits bones. So as we start to inhale, imagine the sits bones curl up towards the sky, the belly drops, the chest starts to move forward, waving up. Our gaze is still down. Then on the inhale, make the movement start from our sits bones, exhale. Sits bones curl down, navel moves towards our spine, our gaze is at our thumbs, below our belly button, towards our knees. Here we go, nice inhale, sits bones curl up, belly drops, fills with air, heart lifts forward. And on the exhale, sits bones curl down, navel towards the spine, gaze at the thumbs, under the belly, towards the knees. Inhale, sits bone curls up, belly drops, fills with air, heart lifts. 2 more times on your own, trying to really slow down the movement, connect the movement to half a breath. Creating mobility in our lower spine. Let's find a neutral tabletop again. Push the ground away. Feel that extra lift we just got. Make sure our shoulders are directly above the wrist crease. Toes can be tucked or flat. Again, I prefer my toes to be tucked. Take an inhale here, push the ground away. And on the exhale, look over your left shoulder. Imagine your left hip moving towards that shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale towards the right side, right shoulder moving towards the right hip. Another juicy side stretch here. Side should be warmed up a little bit already. Finding stillness in tabletop. We'll take cow again. Inhale, lower the belly, lifting the chest. And on the exhale, we'll sink back into child's pose, Balasana. Knees are separated, big toes touch. Hips melt back towards or even to the heels, gazes at the ground. On the inhale, we'll find cow pose again. And on the exhale, we'll push up and back, downward facing dog. Take a couple more rounds of this. Inhale, lower the knees down, finding cow, belly drops, heart lifts. Exhale, sinking back, Balasana, the child's pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Pausing here in our dog, notice we're connecting half a breath to a specific movement. Focusing on our breath, on the movement, helps turn yoga into meditation in motion. We're focused, we're mindful on our breath, on the movements. Push the hands into the mat a lot. Feel the knuckles, bottoms of the knuckles pushing into the mat. Rotate our biceps up towards the sky. Put a bend in the knees. Curl the sits bones up. Then start to straighten the legs. Feel the hamstrings open up as we push into the palms a little bit more. Imagine the inner thighs rotate inward and back towards the wall behind us. Can we gently nod our head? Yes. Can we gently shake our ears side to side? No. Take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, allow our elbows to bend out, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. Down dog push-up. Let's take 3 or 4 here. Awakening the triceps. Heels are still moving towards the ground, yet not touching it. Pausing in downward facing dog, lower the knees to the ground, finding child's pose. Knees are separated, big toes touch, and heart melts down. Inhaling through tabletop, push up and back, downward facing dog. Adjust your stance as needed. Really push the ground away, bend the knees, curl the sits bones up, then straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Rotate the biceps forward, creating more space to push those hips, those sits bones up towards the sky. Let's inhale forward to plank and exhale right back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Your shoulders are directly above the wrists. Now notice what happens when we push into the balls of the feet and the shoulders come forward a little bit. Starts to put a little bit more pressure into the forearms. Push the ground away. Exhale up and back, down facing dog. That's 2. Let's take 3 more. Inhale forward to plank. You can stay here or move forward slightly. Up and back. 2 more. Inhale forward, push the ground away, shoulders come forward, up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward, slightly forward, up and back, downward facing dog. Lowering the knees, sinking back into child's pose. We'll be moving into some sun salutations, so maybe take the blanket away from the knees for a moment. Making our way to downward facing dog. Let's walk our feet to our hands, standing forward fold, Utkatasana. Inhale, halfway rise, draw the shoulders away from the ears, crown of the head away from the hips, the back is flat. Standing forward fold. Circle the hands up towards the sky. Exhale our hands to our heart. And release. Great job, yogis. Feeling warm. Circling the hands up towards the sky. Open the palms, but the thumbs are still touching because on the next inhale, we're going to reach even higher. The hips are going to come forward. The biceps move back beyond our ears. Then we'll take a deep inhale here, reaching even taller. And standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, place our palms on the mat. Step, hop, or jump back into plank, top of a push-up, Kumbhakasana. Lower down slow, scraping our rib cage with our elbows. Draw our thumbs back towards our lower ribs. Point both toes towards both feet, towards the wall behind us. Draw the right big toe away from the right hip, then place the right foot down. Draw the left big toe away from the left hip, then place the left foot down. Push into the tops of each foot. Draw our elbows towards our spine. Curl our pubis into the mat, really strong foundation. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. We'll take a micro cobra. Maybe the nose lifts 1 or 2 inches off the mat. Can we float our hands so we're not putting any weight in our hands here? Then exhale, lower the forehead down. We're pushing into the tops of the feet so hard the knees are floating up. Pubic bones pushing into the mat, elbows moving towards each other. This time, the hands are touching the mat, but there's really no weight pushing down. We lift the chest up and forward, and then we lower down. Third cobra. This time, notice what happens if we put a little bit of weight into the hands. Elbows are still moving towards our center line, towards our spine. A little bit of weight, the chest is moving forward and up. We're not pinching the spine, we're extending the spine. Then we lower down slowly. Draw the heels towards our glutes. Tuck the toes, push into the balls of the feet, push into the hand, up and back, downward facing dog. Turn our gaze towards our thumbtacks, put a bend in the knees, draw the shoulders forward. With equal pressure, push into the bottoms of the palms, the balls of the feet, and float, walk, or step our feet forward to our thumbs. Standing forward fold, Utkatasana. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, bend. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, our hands to our heart, and release. Circling the hands up towards the sky. Exhale, thumbs are touching, palms open. Inhale, get taller, biceps move back. Inhale, reach higher. Bend at the knees, pivot at the hips, standing forward fold. Halfway lift. Reach down to the ground, step back to plank, top of a push-up. Inhale, push the ground away. Exhale, lower down slow. Cobra, chest rises. Heels move towards our glutes, tuck all 10 toes, up and back, downward facing dog. On the inhale, we'll float the right foot up, bring the right foot towards the right thumb tip, Rise, Crescent Lunge. Exhale, place the hands down, stepping back to plank. Lowering down, Cobra. Heels to the glutes, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Next inhale, the left heel rises, left foot floats forward. Rise, Crescent Lunge. Place the hands down, stepping back, lowering down. Cobra, a little bit deeper now. Heels towards the glutes, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. From here, we're moving on. Inhale the right foot forward. Let's all rise into Warrior Two. In Warrior Two, we'd like that front knee bent towards 90 degrees. We don't want the knee moving forward of the front ankle. Look back at the pinky toe edge of the back leg. It should be gripping, holding firmly. And bend and straighten that front leg a few times, since this is our first Warrior Two today. Bring the fingertips away from us, tap the chest, reach the hands up, flip the back palm up. Reach the fingertips away from each other, roll the shoulders away from our ears. Maybe we slightly raise the back tricep as we're calling for our spear. Beautiful warriors. To continue our warm-up here, on the inhale, we will reverse the warrior. And on the exhale, we'll move right through Warrior Two into extended side ankle pose. We'll inhale back. We'll exhale forward. Pushing into the feet a lot grounds us. Maybe we can bend that front knee a little bit more. This version of Dancing Warrior, those side stretches we started our class with, created space in our rib cage. This is adding to that space. This time, let's place both hands on either side of the front foot. Come up onto the ball of the back foot, stepping back to plank, lowering down, heels towards the glute, tuck the toes, up dog or cobra, up and back, downward facing dog. Let's float the left heel up towards the sky. The left foot will come forward and rise into Warrior Two. I'll spin around so my back's not to you. Again, you can bend and straighten that front leg. Look down at the back leg. Make sure that pinky toe edge of the back foot's really gripping, really firm. Finding stillness in our Warrior Two. Thumbs come to the chest. Reach the fingertips away from each other. Lower the shoulders down. Slightly lift that back tricep. Back palm open towards the sky. Gaze over that front middle finger. Strong, fierce warriors. Call for that spear. On the inhale, we'll move into reverse warrior. And on the exhale, extended side angle pose. The top hand comes up, then moves forward. Inhale back, reversing our warrior. Exhale forward. Push down into the feet a lot. That pinky toe edge of the back foot is really grounding us, really holding us in this dancing warrior. Feel the expansion, the space that you're creating on both side bodies. The next time we come forward, cartwheel the hands to either side of the foot. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Step back to plank, top of a push-up. Lowering down. Glutes, or heels come towards our glutes. Up dog or cobra. Heels to the glutes. Up and back, downward facing dog. Turn our gaze towards our thumb tips. Bend the knees, draw the shoulders forward. Push into the balls of the feet and the base of the palm. Maybe the hips start to float up and forward at the same time, creating a much softer landing. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, circle the hands up towards the sky, and exhale our hands to our heart. Notice the heat that you've created in your body already in class. Circling the hands up. Palms open, thumbs touch. Inhale, get taller. Exhale here. Inhale, taller still, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Just placing our hands down, stepping back to plank, top of a push-up. Let's roll over onto the edge of the right foot and make our way into Vashisthasana's pose, side plank. If this is in your practice, we can have both feet on top of each other. The hips are moving up, slightly forward. The chest is opening out. Let's really make sure our right shoulder is directly above the right wrist crease. If this is a new pose for you, let's create that. The bottom knee can be right below the hip, in line with the back foot, in line with the front arm. The top hip is still lifting up slightly forward as the chest opens up towards the back. There's another variation. The bottom leg, the right leg, is on the pinky toe edge of the foot. The left foot steps forward in front of the left hip. Push into the hand, lift the hip up, it gets lighter. Chest opens up and back. This is a subtle twist here. And wherever we are, your expression of the pose is perfect today. Let's come down, bottom of the push-up. Heels move towards the glutes, tuck the toes. Let's all push up into upward facing dog. Gently rock our weight side to side, shifting the weight from one wrist to the other, strengthening the wrists, strengthening the forearms. Up and back, downward facing dog. Pausing here for a couple deep breaths. And let's roll over onto the left side. Whichever variation that you took in the pose is fine here. The left knee can be down. The right foot can be stepped in front of the right hip. Both feet can be on top of each other. Let's just make sure to use our bones as scaffolding, taking the pressure off the muscles. Our left shoulder is directly above the left wrist crease. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. The right hip reaches up and forward. The right shoulder opens back. Maybe we turn our gaze up towards that top hand. If the fingers are spread wide, maybe the middle finger moves forward, holding on to the air, holding on to the clouds. Maybe we float that right foot up. Maybe we play with our balance, play with our side body, working our obliques by drawing the right elbow towards the right knee. Wherever we are, float the right hand down, making our way to plank, lower down to our knees, sinking back to child's pose. Knees are separated, big toes touch, heart melts down. Continuing your breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Floating up and through tabletop, back to downward facing dog. Walk, float, or hop our feet to our thumb tips. Halfway rise, standing forward fold. Gently sway side to side. Feel our glutes, feel our hamstrings. Can we lift those sits bones up towards the sky? The legs get a little straighter. Can we relax the top of the head down? Can we open up the shoulders? Release the hands, slowly roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Head's the last to rise. Bring the hands to our heart and release. Circling the hands up towards the sky. Open the palms. Inhale, reach higher. Inhale again, standing forward fold. Halfway rise. Stepping down. Lowering down. Up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Float the right heel up towards the sky. The right foot comes forward. We'll rise into crescent lunge again. Push the heel away from us. The hamstrings active. Moving towards the back of the mat. Floating the hands to the ground. Stepping back to plank. Lowering down. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Float the left heel up. The left foot comes forward. We rise into crescent lunge on the ball of the back foot, Squaring the hips towards the front of the mat, the back hamstrings active. Reaching high, pushing back. Float the hands down. Lowering down. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Moving on, the right foot comes up. Right foot forward. Stepping the left foot forward. Standing forward fold. Let our belly rest on our thighs, sink our hips down, start to float our fingertips forward, then up into chair pose, Utkatasana. Can you look down and see all 10 of our toes? Can we lift the toes up, place the toes down? Sitting a little deeper almost makes it easier in this pose. The shoulders are lifting up. Maybe it's a high back chair. Can we move our shoulders towards alignment with our hips, reach the fingertips away? Big thigh, hamstring burner. Bring our palms to touch in front of our chest. Take a deep inhale here. And on the exhale, we twist towards the right. The left elbow reaches across the right thigh. Now what tends to happen is our left knee wants to jut forward. So draw the hip back, the knee will follow. Press into the bottom tricep a lot. Feel the belly lift. The weight lifts off that right thigh, but it's still connected. Push into each palm equally. Turn our gaze towards our thumb, or maybe even up towards that top elbow. Can we move that top elbow so it's not forward or behind the bottom elbow, yet directly above it? And breathe. You're welcome to stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, turn your gaze to your right foot. Right foot, shift our weight into the right foot. The left foot gets really light. Come up on the ball of the left foot. Maybe we slide it, step it, or float the left foot back, finding that crescent lunge we were just in. Draw the right hip back towards the back of the mat. Activate the ball of the back foot, the ball of the front foot. Activate the bottom tricep. Big twist in this crescent lunge. If you'd like a little bit more, maybe we open the fingertips, one towards the ground, one towards the sky, shoulder blades moving towards each other. Bring the palms to touch. Look back down at the right foot. Purposefully, mindfully shift our weight into the right foot. Bring the left foot forward. Unwind, standing forward fold should feel so great. Nodding our head, yes. Gently shaking our ears side to side, no. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower down slow. Inhale, circling the hands up towards the sky. And exhale, our hands to our heart. That's one side. Let's take care of the other side. Circling the hands up towards the sky. Open the palms, thumbs are touching. Reach higher. Standing forward fold. Halfway lift. Place the hands down. Step back to plank. Lower down. Up dog. Down dog. Walk our feet to our thumb tips. Standing forward fold. Halfway lift. Standing fold. Draw those fingers out in front of us. Feel the belly on the thighs, sinking deep. Then start to lift the chest, lift the fingertips, push into the feet equally. The hips can lift a little bit, the shoulders lift, and maybe move back. Chair pose, Utkatasana, awkward pose. Bring the palms to touch in front of our heart. Take a deep inhale here. And on the exhale, let's twist towards the left. Notice what happened to your knees. Do you need to draw your right hip back so the right knee is in alignment with the left knee? The weight is equal on each foot here. We activate the bottom tricep, push the palms into each other deeper. Can you adjust where that top elbow is? Is it floating directly above the bottom elbow? Turn our gaze towards the thumb. You're welcome to stay here. Or if you tried it on the other side or want to try it here, let's all turn our gaze to the left foot. Shift the weight in the left foot so the right foot gets very light. Could be on the ball of that foot. You can drag, step, or float the left foot back into the twisted crescent lunge. The ball of the back foot is really pushing firmly into the ground. The heel's moving back so it's directly above the back toes. We're activating the bottom tricep. It gives us leverage to open up that juicy twist. Draw the left hip back in space. The right hamstring's active. The right heel's active. May give us the leverage, the foundation to open up this beautiful twist. Bring the palms back to touch. Turn our gaze back down towards that front foot. Step, hop, or float the back foot forward. And unwind, standing forward fold. Halfway lift, standing fold. Circle the hands. Hands to heart center. And release. Feeling the heat? I hope so. Circling the hands up towards the sky. Open the palms, reaching higher. Hips come forward. Standing forward fold. Halfway rise. Reaching down, stepping back to plank. Lower down all the way. Cobra. Heels move towards the glutes. Tuck the feet up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's float the right heel up towards the sky. The right foot comes forward. Let's make our way into Warrior Two again. Feel that firm, strong foundation on the back foot. Adjust your stance so the front knee does not go forward or the front ankle. Reach the fingertips away. Bring the thumbs towards our sternum. Reach the fingertips away and long. Draw the shoulders down. Lift the back tricep. Flip the back hand up. Beautiful. Turn that gaze towards that drishti, towards our target, towards our goal. Fierce, benevolent warriors, fighting for what is right. Inhale, reversing the warrior. We've been here before. Exhale, extended side angle pose. Top hand reaches up, then forward. The bottom hand can be bent across the front thigh, like so, or we can place it down using the back of the tricep, pushing into the inner right thigh, creating leverage to open up, creating a little more space to reach that top hand further. We've done a lot of leg work here. Hips may be trembling. So let's all straighten that front leg without locking the knee. Place our hands on our hips, draw our hips back. Reach the right hand forward and down. The top hand reaches up, making our way to Trikonasana, triangle pose. Breathing here, feel that back firm, bottom of the back foot holding us. Start to pivot or bend. Place hands on either side of the front leg. Bend the front leg, draw the back foot in about a foot. Toes pointing out 45 degrees. Here we can use the blocks if we'd like. Start to straighten the front leg. Draw the crown of the head away from the hips. Draw the right hip back towards the back of the mat. Our gaze is down. There's no pressure on the back of our neck. Hands can be on blocks in a low setting, or they can be across the shin. Or you can even interlace the fingers behind your back, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Maybe we take little pulses here. The shoulders float up and down. The back is long and flat. It's a big stretch for the right hamstring. Pushing into the left foot allows the shoulders to float up towards the ceiling. Releasing the hands. Bringing both hands down to the ground. Point both sets of toes towards the left for a wide-legged forward fold. Let the head hang heavy. Place the hands on the outer side of our shins or our hips or our ankles. Placing the hands on the ground in the center, bend the left foot a lot. Maybe we bend it so much we come up on the heel of the right foot in Skandasana. If you bring the left foot in a little bit, make it easier, more accessible. Can the left foot be flat, the right foot up on the heel? opening the left hip, opening the right hamstring. Maybe we bring our palms to touch in front of our heart, maybe not. Point the right toes forward, then shift, bending the right leg a lot, come up on the left heel. Maybe one side's easier than the other. Can we use the right tricep as leverage to open the heart, the chest up? Dorsiflex the left foot, so the toes are moving towards the left knee. The right thigh is pushing into the right tricep, creating lift, lightness in a challenging pose. Place both hands on the ground, find our way back to standing wide-legged forward fold. Let's move on towards the other side. To get there, we'll take a shortcut. We're going to point our left toes towards the back of the mat. Slowly rise into Warrior Two on the opposite side. Adjust your stance as needed. Heel arch or heel alignment. The front knees move bending towards 90 degrees. Palms reach away, shoulders move away from the ears. Thumbs come to the chest. Fingertips reaching away from each other. Flip the back palm up. Reach the front hand away. Turn our gaze towards that front middle fingertip. Again, draw the shoulders away from the ears. The tailbone tucks down. Maybe the back tricep lifts up a little bit and away from the front hand. Great adjustments, yogis. We'll inhale into reverse warrior. We'll exhale forward. The top hand comes up. Then forward into extended side angle pose. The bottom hand reaches down along the inner left thigh. Using that leverage to open up. Don't forget about that back foot. Really grip, holding that foundation. Using those back toes, the back foot to reach that front arm further forward. Just when the leg starts to shake, start to straighten that front leg. Hands on the hips, draw the right hip back. Left hand reaches forward, then down into your expression of triangle pose, Utkatasana. Can you adjust the top hand so it's directly above the top shoulder, opening the shoulders? Beautiful triangles. And now let's take pyramid pose on the opposite side. So we're going to float the top hand down, framing the front foot, bending the front leg. When the front hands are on the ground, hop the back foot in about a foot. Square the hips towards the front of the mat. Again, you can use your blocks, or you can slide the hand up the front shin. Draw the head away from the hips, shoulders away from the ears. Hands could be on the blocks, on the ground, the left hips moving back towards the top of the mat. Hands could be interlaced behind your back. Extend the arms, lifting the shoulders. We pulse here by really using the middle of the back, the right foot, as leverage by pushing down, the shoulders float up. We're all connected here. Wherever you are, release the hands, point all 10 toes towards the center of the room. It's all bend the right knee again, coming up into Skandasana on the left heel. Maybe it's different this time. Maybe a little easier to bring the palms to touch, the right tricep on the inner right thigh, lifting the sternum up. Maybe even smiling, dorsiflex all 5 of those left toes towards the left knee. Placing the hands on the ground, carefully move towards the opposite side, bending the left leg, coming up on the right heel, dorsiflex the right toes. Coming back to center, letting the head hang heavy. Placing the left hand directly below the nose, pushing into the ground with the left hand, float the right hand up. Nice opening twist here, reach those fingertips even higher. Fingers spread wide, shoulders open. Float the right hand down. Pushing into the ground with the right hand, the left fingertips reach up. Float the left hand down. Walk our hands towards the top of the mat. Point all 10 toes towards the front of the mat. Stepping forward, folding forward. Utkatasana, standing forward fold. Halfway lift, standing fold, hands to the sky, Tadasana, releasing our hands. Moving forward into a big hip opener, reaching the hands up, opening the palms, reaching higher, standing forward fold. Halfway lift, hands come down, step back to plank, top of a push-up. From push-up, skip the vinyasa, move to downward facing dog. Float the right heel up in space. Bring the right knee to or towards the right thumb tip. We'll move into half pigeon. In half pigeon, the hips are squared towards the front of the mat. Let's all look over our right shoulder. Can we see that left foot? Turn our gaze towards the front. Without looking back at the left foot, can we point that left heel up towards the sky? If the front leg is bent like mine, point the toes towards the back toes. Scissor the thighs together. There should not be any pain or tension on the knees. So the more we scissor the thighs together, make it an active pose. Draw the right hip back. You could take a block and put it under the right glute. May feel really good as a nice adjustment. We don't want any pressure in the lower spine. So if you are feeling pressure in the lower spine, walk your hands forward. Take your weight forward. If there's no pressure in the lower spine, your spine's warmed up. This cow pose articulation really helps open up, create mobility in our lower spine. If you want to play around with the pose, maybe you draw the back heel towards the glutes. Start to feel big, deep hamstring stretch here. Again, any pressure in the lower back, just walk your hands forward, lower that back foot. Maybe you reach around and find that foot. There's the hamstring stretch. Maybe the right fingertips float up towards the sky. Some people have it in their practice to grab the back foot with the inner elbow. Almost there, not quite. It's a progression. What's the rush, really? Wherever we are in this pose, let's lower that back foot. Walk our hands further forward and find the deep, relaxing opening of our right hip joint. Draw the right glute back in space. You could use a block or your hands as a pillow. We'll be here for 30 more seconds. Scissoring the thighs together. Don't let that back heel cycle in or out. Maybe can you draw the left toe further away? Left heel up towards the sky. Where do you feel the pose most? Is it that right hip joint? Imagine we're directing every breath to that part of our body. Let's walk our hands back towards our center line, tucking our back toes. Float the right foot up and back. Point that toes towards the ground. The heel moves away from us. Three-legged dog. Since we're here, if you'd like to move into wild thing, we move the left toes towards the left side of the mat. The foot moves flat. The right foot comes up on the ball of the foot, providing leverage to lift the right hip towards the sky. Look down. Can we draw our left shoulder over the left wrist crease, reaching the right hands up? The left foot is firm and flat. The hips are lifting up. Maybe we turn our gaze towards the thumb and draw the thumb towards the top of the mat. Breathing. As soon as we hold our breath, we create stress and challenge in the balance, challenge and remaining soft in the pose. Take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, float both hands down to the ground, three-legged dog. Bring the right foot down, coming down to the knees, sinking back into Child's Pose Balasana. Both hips should feel open, but maybe you notice a little more openness, a little more mobility on the right side. So let's take care of the left hip joint. Making our way into our downward facing dog, float the left heel up towards the sky, the left knee comes towards or to the left thumb tip. Draw the right foot back, crawl it back, square the hips towards the front of the mat. Coming up on fingertips, sitting very tall here, scissoring the thighs towards each other. Let's look over our left shoulder. Can we see that right foot? Push down, lift up. Turning our gaze back towards front of the mat, scissoring the thighs a lot. If you did it on the other side, maybe take a blanket or that block under the left glute. Should feel really good, provide a little bit more support, may make some of these poses, some of the options in the poses more accessible. Without looking back, make sure that left or right heel is pointing towards the sky. We walk our hands towards our center line without compressing the lumbar spine. If it feels difficult, uncomfortable, we walk our hands forward. Can we draw the right heel towards the right glute? Start to feel the right quadriceps really kick in here. It's our mobility, openness. If it's accessible, the lower back feels fine. Maybe we float one hand back for that foot. Yeah, the right elbow isn't going to grab the right foot for me. Every side is different. Every day is different. If we're holding on to the foot, can we slowly, slowly let it go? Squaring the hips towards the front. Let's walk our fingertips out in front of us. If the left shin is, the left toes are down towards the right side of the waist, point those toes. Square the hips towards the front of the mat. Maybe we walk the right foot back slightly and come down onto our forearms or all the way down. Our chest melts over our left thigh. We'll be here about 30 more seconds. Bringing our mind back to our breath, to the sensations in our left hip. Can we draw the left glute ever so slightly back towards the back of the mat, scissoring the thighs together. Slowly, slowly walk our hands towards the center line, tuck the back toes, move the block out of the way. Three-legged dog with the left leg up. You're welcome to stay here, or if you'd like to take wild thing on this side, we point the right toes towards the left side of the mat. The left foot reaches back behind us. The right leg is towards straight without locking the knee. The right foot is flat. Left foot is on the ball of the foot, using leverage to lift the hips up. The right shoulder is above the right wrist crease. Left hands reach up, fingers reach up. Turn our gaze towards that left thumb. Maybe the left hand reaches behind us. We're pushing down, reaching away, pushing into both feet. Slowly, slowly unwind, finding our way to plank, downward facing dog, walking our feet to our thumbs. Slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. The head is the last to rise. Circling the hands up. Exhale the hands to the heart. One more sun salutation. Can you believe it? Inhale, circling the hands up towards the sky. Exhale, open the palms. Thumbs are touching, reach even higher. Standing forward fold. Halfway rise, reaching down to plank. Top of a push-up. Lowering down. Up dog, downward facing dog, right heel floats up, right foot forward. Let's all rise into crescent lunge. Floating the hands down, stepping back, Downward facing dog. Left heel rises, left foot forward, rise, squaring the hips towards the front. Crescent lunge. Hands come down, stepping back, downward facing dog. Right heel rises, right foot forward, left foot steps in at about 45 degrees. We'll find ourselves in warrior one. Bending and straightening that front leg with the front knee bent up to 90 degrees. The knee is not moving forward of the front ankle. The hips can be towards square or slightly open a little bit to the left. Really feel the full left foot flat on the mat. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Bring our hands to our heart. Start to shift forward by coming up onto the tippy toes of the back foot. Bring more weight into the right foot and make our way into warrior three. In warrior three, we could do a modified version and use the blocks for extra support. Or the thumbs can be pushed into the sternum. Super strong standing right leg without locking the knee gives us the leverage to float the left heel up and away from us. Can we lower the left hip so both hips are square? Yeah, we feel that in the glutes, in the thighs. We're going to slowly pivot forward, bending the left leg. Bring the left knee up. And shaking the left leg out. I'll turn to face you. For our standing balance pose today, we have the options of tree pose, Vrksasana. Position A would be with the heel above the ankle. B, bottom left foot pushing into the right shin. Or C, we could bring it all the way up. If you'd like to play with something a little bit different, and it's in your practice, or you'd like to try it, bring the palms to push into each other, thumbs pushing into the sternum, bring the right knee up, reach down with the right hand, cup the top of the left foot, bring the left heel into the right hip crease, and let the left knee start to drop down. We tend to let our right hip fall out, so pushing into the right ball of the right foot brings the right hip in towards the center line, make it easier to balance. Standing half lotus pose. You can keep your hand cupping that foot, or if you have a firm connection with that left heel into the left hip crease, maybe the left knee moves away from the right shoulder. Drawing the tailbone down, using that mobility in our lumbar spine, bring the palms to touch, pushing into the sternum. Maybe we extend the hands in front of us. Imagine the knuckles are touching as if we have this beautiful blossom in this lotus tree that blooms right before our eyes, opening the fingertips up towards the sky. The bottom knees moving down, the top shoulders moving back. To come out of the pose, gently cup the top of the left foot with the right hand. Reach the front knee up and forward. Maybe we reach that knee up, push into the right foot, may give us the strength, the leverage to extend the left foot forward. Bring the knee up, then bring it down, shaking it out. Great job, yogis. Thanks for playing along. Let's take the standing balance pose on the opposite side. Left leg will be the standing leg. Again, you could take your variation, your option of tree pose, using your hands to get ourselves into the pose. If you'd like to try half lotus on the opposite side, bring the right knee up, reach down, cup the top of the right foot with the left hand. Bring that right heel right into that hip crease. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, draw the tailbone down, navel towards the spine. Draw the left hip in towards the center line. The right knee falls down and back. The left shoulder goes up and back. Right hand can come into the sternum, giving us something to balance on, something to hold on to. Find a dristi, a spot on the floor that won't move. That point of focus can help us to. Maybe we bring both hands to touch. My right heel's pushing into the hip crease. My hips are moving towards the center line. Breathing. I'm imagining that beautiful lotus blossom on this lotus tree starting to bloom in front of our eyes. Carefully bringing the right hand back to the sternum, the left hand cupping the right foot, reaching the right knee up, extending the right heel away from us, drawing the left hip towards the center line. May create more space to reach that front foot even higher. Bending the leg, drawing the knee up, shaking both legs out. Great job, yogis. Putting our feet 45 degrees, circling the hands up towards the sky. Exhale our hands to our heart as we sink down into Malasana Yogi Squat. Shake the hips gently side to side. Let's place our hands behind us, slowly lower down to a wide-legged seated forward fold. We did the standing, let's do the seated version. Grab the fleshy part of our glutes away from us. Rock and roll the heels side to side, gently bounce the knees up and down. If you have a block, it can be a fun thing to use right now. We'll inhale, reaching the block away from us. And on the exhale, imagine the end of the block is reaching the opposite wall. So we're not curling, we're reaching up and forward, up and forward, up and forward, up and forward, up and forward. And wherever the block falls is where it falls, no big deal. Using our fingertips to reach even further. Breathing in through the nose, out of the nose, relaxing in this deep stretch, this deep pose. Deep inhale, and on the exhale, draw the block towards our center. Take our left arm and inside of our left thigh. Maybe it's on top of the thigh, maybe it's on the ground. Again, using that leverage of the back of the side of the tricep into the inner thigh. Inhale the top hand up with the block, and exhale, reach towards the center. Inhale up, exhale towards the center. Inhale up, exhale towards the center. Inhale up, exhale center. Inhale up. This time exhale towards the toes. Maybe with the block you can reach the toes. Maybe you don't need the block. Just the composition of your body with nice long arms or short legs allows the top hand to reach. If the top hand is reaching, can we open up that top shoulder? If you have to use the bottom hand as a prop to get the bicep, tricep out of the way, that's one way to make it more accessible. We can always bend our knee. What do you know? Then we can reach our toes. Wherever you are in your pose today is perfect. It's the progression, the slow progression that teaches us patience, teaches us to get out of our ego. Float the top hand up towards the sky. Now the right hand comes on the inside of the right thigh or on top of the right thigh, opening the shoulders up. If you did it before, maybe we use the block. 3 or 4 breaths here, really opening the shoulders, the side body. Inhale up. Can we reach that block towards the toes? Maybe you grab the block on either side of the foot, or you replace the right hand down, using that leverage to open up. Maybe you can reach those toes. Maybe you bend the knees, makes it easier. Maybe use the bottom hand as a prop to get that top arm out of the way so we can start to open up the top shoulder even more. Wherever you are, bring both hands up towards the sky, lower them down, roll the shoulders up and back. Let's extend our right leg out in front of us. Take our left foot over the right leg. If you have it in your practice, you're welcome to draw the right leg back, but only if both sits bones can really make a firm connection onto the mat. If your left sits bone is floating up, like mine normally does, you keep the right leg straight. Take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, we'll take our right hand around the left bent leg, opening up. Another juicy twist. Inhale, the crown of the head floats up. Exhale, the left shoulder opens. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, we'll do a counter rotation, opening up towards the right. Then we'll extend both legs out, shake them out. Now the left leg is straight, the right leg steps over, nudges it in. You can try it now. Can I bend my left leg and get my right sits bone, my right hip on the mat? For me, this side is actually harder than the other side, so I'm going to extend the left leg. Everybody is different on each side. Left leg is out, we'll turn to the right, we'll take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, left hand comes around the right bent leg. Inhale, reach up, exhale, open it towards the back. 2 more deep breaths here. Find the counter rotation. And let's unwind, shaking out both legs. Your head towards the top of the mat, slowly roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, bringing our knees into our chest, Apanasana. Gently rock our hips side to side. May feel really good across our glutes, across our lumbar spine. If you'd like to take happy baby here, grab the outer edges of our feet with the arms on the inside of our thighs. What tends to happen is we lift our lumbar spine too high off the mat. So to bring it back down to the mat, just let our heels point towards the bottom or towards the ground. Then when you feel it flat, starts to float the bottom of the feet up. Maybe we can gently nudge our knees in the direction of the ground, feeling that connection of the lumbar spine. Bringing the knees to our chest, Apanasana one more time. Draw the nose up towards the knees. Take a deep inhale here. Open mouth, exhale, extend the legs away from us. Get long onto our mats. Rock and roll the heels side to side. Let's place our right hand over our navel, our left hand near our heart. Just notice your breath. Notice your belly rising and falling. Maybe you feel your heartbeat with your left hand. Placing our hands on the top of our body helps relax the vagus nerves group. These nerves allow us to relax. Take a deep inhale in through the nose, open our mouth side out. Let's wiggle our jaw side to side. Softly close our mouth. Push the tip of our tongue to the roof of our mouth, right behind the top 2 teeth, then let it go. Wiggle our nose. Flutter our eyelids without opening our eyes. Furrow and unfurrow our brow. Can you walk your shoulder blades slightly closer towards each other so our collarbones open wide and relaxed? Put a gentle push in the back of our head so the chin floats up, relaxing the neck. You've done all the work. You've created the heat, created the energy. In this most important pose of our practice, Shavasana, is where we get the benefit of your efforts. We'll be here for 2 minutes, and I'll guide you out when we're complete. As we relax, as we sink, as we let go into Shavasana. Slowly, let's start to deepen our breath. Bring some movement to our fingers, to our toes. Gently roll our wrists and ankles. Inhale both hands to the ground beyond our head. Pointing our fingers, pointing our toes, feeling the length you've created in your body today through this practice. Slide the bottoms of each foot flat onto the mat so our knees are bent. Let's roll over onto our right side, using our right bicep as a pillow for 2 deep breaths here. Place our left hand flat on the ground in front of our belly and slowly push up with our eyes softly closed, chin connected to our chest. It's the last thing to rise as we find ourselves into a comfortable seat. Bring our palms to touch in front of our heart. Imagine that light, that energy, that warmth that you've created in your body today. Let's endeavor to share that with ourselves, with our family and friends, and complete strangers in the world around us. Using this yoga practice to practice remaining calm in challenging situations, no matter what the world, what the environment, what the barking dogs bring in front of us. Can we smile and relax through the challenges that face us? Can we take life's experience and through our yoga practice build strength, not weakness? We'll seal our practice with one Om. Deep, deep inhale. Namaste, yogis. Thank you for joining me today. The light in me bows to the light and teacher within each of you. It's been my privilege to lead this class. If you think that there's anybody in your life that could benefit from starting a home practice or adding some variety to their practice, please feel free to share the link or subscribe for notifications on when new classes are posted. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic day. Namaste.